this video, we will examine the impact of technology on production processes and continue to explore the important operations function within a business. So, pretty much everywhere we turn, we are starting to see the rise of automation and robotics. There are now restaurants using robots to deliver food, and we even have pizza vending machines that will actually bake you a custom pizza and spit it out of the oven below. There are now driverless cars in cities across the globe making split-second decisions on the roads. Believe it or not, Amazon actually now has over 200,000 robots working within its factories. These robots are often used during production and are getting more sophisticated and better at performing even the most complex of tasks. The really shocking part is that the difference in cost between a robot and a human worker is starting to lean in favour of the robot. Technology has made a huge difference to almost every business. It has allowed them to change the products they make and also to change the methods and processes that they use to make these products. If technology is used well, it can allow businesses to manufacture in greater quantities, to make sure their products are more standardised and of a consistent quality, and to save costs through greater efficiency and less wastage. Before we go any further though, I feel it's important to point out that although many of the improvements this technology has allowed may have saved the business money, with every new robot that is purchased by a business like Amazon, it's fair to say that somebody, a real human being, might lose their job. We will always need skilled humans who can manage and maintain this technology. But if a member of your family works in a warehouse packaging orders, they may lose their employment to, well, a machine. A machine that doesn't need to take holidays, doesn't need a 20-minute break, or even to go to sleep. As these employees are replaced with robots, some people may find themselves out of work and therefore struggling to feed their families. To all the teachers out there, show all of these videos without any ads and gain access to our growing library of over 500 teaching worksheets. Why not visit BizzWizard.co.uk to find out more? But moving on to the more lighter side of technology's influence on production, let's introduce this video's main example. This is Leon Rivera, the founder and director of Fresh Kicks, a trainer company who are currently all over TikTok and Instagram. Leon started Fresh Kicks back in 2015. Initially, it was a pretty small business, producing trainers for small independent retailers in the UK from a pretty small workshop. However, since then, the business has grown in size and in popularity. And in 2020, Leon invested in the latest 3D printing technology to allow customers to create their own personalised trainers. Leon has always been a big fan of using technology in his business, and started off by introducing CAD software, which stands for Computer Aided Design, and it allows for 3D renders of potential product concepts to be digitally created and then showcased to customers or investors. CAD designs can also be passed into a CAM system to be actually manufactured. CAM stands for Computer Aided Manufacturing. What I mean here is basically building a bespoke production line which allows for automating the process of manufacturing with the help of computer software and robotics. Fresh Kicks is now one of the first trainer manufacturers in the UK to embrace the use of 3D printing. This puts them in the same league as Adidas and Nike when it comes to innovation. And this has certainly played a big part in the growth and the success of Fresh Kicks. However, it's important to note that the company's production uses both automation and human workers in its production process. It's not a completely automated process, and the human involvement here from the production workers is extremely important. Automation is when technology is used to carry out many of the repetitive or dangerous tasks previously completed by humans. It's important you understand though that automation could be very basic technology, such as a handheld drill. The drill mechanism here is the technology that is automating the process of turning the drill bit. So you don't need to have tons of fancy machines to have an automated production process. With automation, this means that employees can focus on the more interesting jobs, such as production management, programming, maintenance, and quality assurance. As well as being a bit less boring, these jobs are better paid than many. In fact, the staff here at Fresh Kicks love the brand, and they love their job. It's taken a lot of trial and error to get the programming of production robots right using the 3D printing systems, between using automation for tasks that require accuracy and speed, and using humans for less standard jobs that require more actual judgment. Big parts of the automated production line at Fresh Kicks operate more or less continuously, only needing to be taken out of use for servicing and maintenance for a relatively small amount of time. Leon will be the first to admit that it was a big risk when he made his initial investment in automated technology and in the 3D printing equipment. He spent a whole heap of money and he wasn't guaranteed that it would pay off. But the success of Fresh Kicks, the huge growth of sales, the increase in productivity, the consistent quality, and the reputation of their trainers mean that not only is the business highly profitable, but it's become a real cult brand with a massive following. Bring this video and over 100 more to life with fun, interactive games, quizzes, and case studies. Why not try the first 25 completely free by visiting BizzWizard.co.uk. Let's have a look at the advantages and the disadvantages of using technology for Fresh Kicks, starting with the advantages. Greater use of technology has allowed them to become faster and more efficient in their production process. And by automating the manufacturing process, levels of production have increased at the factory. As fewer people need to be employed, that generates savings for the business, which can either be passed on to the customer as lower prices, or maybe invested in further technology such as the successful introduction of the 3D printed trainers. By taking out the boring and repetitive tasks and automating them, it means that the people who do work on the manufacturing side of the business are more likely to have interesting jobs. By automating the jobs that may be dangerous for people to carry out, the workplace is also a much safer place for people to be. And this means that Fresh Kicks is seen as a good place to work, so they can attract the best staff, who are likely to be highly motivated and therefore work hard. Standardization and consistent quality have been much more achievable since Fresh Kicks introduced its automated production process. This has helped improve its reputation, and it's definitely helped improve its sales. Finally, the most recent technological innovation at Fresh Kicks, the introduction of 3D printing technology, has simply been a real game changer. This has set them apart from many of their competitors, and it's allowed them to offer their customers the opportunity to design their own truly bespoke trainers. Each of the video courses over at BizzWizard.co.uk also includes an interactive business case study that applies the knowledge learned to a real-world scenario. There are over 1,000 multiple-choice questions, each with detailed feedback, which tests students' understanding of the content. Why not visit BizzWizard.co.uk to find out more? However, there are several disadvantages of using technology in production. The main issue is that technology doesn't come cheap. Leon had to wait until he had the funds available to invest in technology, and once his business had grew, he had to weigh up the pros and cons of using technology in production against the cost of actually putting it in place. It was initially far too expensive for him to consider this specialised technology when he first started up, and he had to wait until a much later date when the business actually had the funds to do so. The technology also needs to be set up in such a way that allows Leon's business to be flexible. If the production process doesn't allow them to switch easily between different styles or sizes, or to change their designs to incorporate new design features, then this could prove to be very restrictive. When Leon switched over to using increased levels of technology, he simply ended up with too many employees and not enough work for them to do. Because of this, he had to undergo a redundancy program, causing disruption and uncertainty among his team, as well as the large costs of redundancy payments. And the staff that do now work for Leon need to be very highly skilled to operate all of this fancy equipment, meaning higher average wages. And finally, if machines break down, this could cause Leon a significant headache. He'll need to make sure that there are regular checks and maintenance to avoid costly downtime and disruption to production. If you get a question about the use of technology in production, it's important to look at the advantages and the disadvantages that we've discussed and to weigh them up against each other. For some businesses, the benefits and savings from using technology will far outweigh the significant cost of investing in automation and technology. For others, though, it may just be too expensive to invest in the short term. However, that doesn't mean that they can't take advantage of the benefits of technology by outsourcing certain parts of the process to other businesses who do have the necessary equipment. So businesses will often need to balance technology with human flexibility. Automation is really good for mass production. You know, when things flow through the production line, when everything is nice and precise. But it doesn't work so well for products that need to be personalised to meet individual customers' preferences, unless you have a load of expensive 3D printers and some pretty impressive trainer design-in CAD software, just like fresh kicks do. As we have seen, technology continues to change the game when it comes to manufacturing. To wrap this video up, I would like to leave you with a quote from an insanely successful entrepreneur, Henry Ford. I think this really sums up the use of technology in production. If you always do what you always did, you'll always get what you always got. This has been the BizzWizard. See you in the next video.